there's plenty of story of the time that you went on The Voice, right?
Hmm.
We don't have to talk about this. You've talked about it plenty. When did you like realize you're like, oh shit? When was that moment when that light bulb went on? Like, this
From
is
The
for
Voice,
real.
I had a lot of those moments while I was there. I had auditioned for several shows. So I had already auditioned for The Voice once before, and then I had auditioned for America's Got Talent. They were like, what if we bring you, like, do you want to bring your band with you? And so I was kind of like working on that when the second voice opportunity happened. And then I had also tried out for the X Factor. So it was X Factor, Voice, and America's
Oh
Got
wow.
Talent. Made it up, but not to where make it on the show. And then none of those came through. And then the following year was when I saw, I was still talking to AGT, but then that next year, my life was very different. And the voice auditions came around again. I guess to answer your question, that second time around, I got the call back and all that stuff. The callback was euphoric. My gosh, is this real moment?
I'm gonna record it to my. There you go. All right. Well, once again, Clarissa, thank you. Like we've been trying this for a few a few weeks now,
Yeah, we made it.
we finally got it. I just want to say thank you for being so patient and working with me. It's really a pleasure to talk to you. We bump into each other here and there,
Hmm.
rockets or out and about. So speaking of that, how often do you play now?
Not super often. So coming back from COVID, I think I was needing a break since I'd been giving gigging since I was 15, pretty hardcore for a long time. A lot of things happened around COVID time where I was needing to slow down, but didn't have the willpower to like do it myself. So then COVID was like, here you go. And it forced to slow down. And so then coming back from it, I got married during COVID or right before. Then I had my daughter at the end of 2021. And that was like the second wave of COVID, kind of came around. So I guess we sort of started coming back around 2022. I was just able to like redefine our approach, I guess, and just like doing a little bit less, like not doing the bar gigs because I can't afford to be out till 2:30 in the morning and then come home to my baby and have to do all that stuff. It's just becoming a mom really changed my perspective on it. So now it's more about quality, not quantity for me. And we're really trying to keep gigging, but making sure that it stays true to our standards on like, not quite as much time. They're earlier gigs. We can all get home to our families. I was just talking to my bass player, Matt, who's been with me since like the Revo
Hmm.
days, like 20 years. And he's like, yeah, I took a little break, during February. And I was like, we're old, dude. We need to get little breathers in between now. We can't hang like we used to.
I feel you. I feel you. I really do. Like lately, I've been trying to grind a lot. I
Mhm.
took like a break from just like the straight grinding, right? So back
Yeah.
in, I mean, let's say 29 to 2017, it was just like no breaks, right? Just full on. And then COVID and all that. But COVID was like a forced break, right?
Yes.
Like because I wanted to play, but we couldn't play.
Yep.
So then I got back onto it. But then we kind of took a year, not a sabbatical, just really took it real slow. But
Mhm.
then I just at the end, like in the middle of 2025, just started gigging and I'm booking solo gigs and like I'm liking the fact that I'm staying busy with music again. But like you
Yes.
said, like some of those bar gigs again, when you get home at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, those are tough, especially when you got a little one. How old is your daughter now?
Yeah. So she just turned 4 in
Oh
December.
my goodness.
Just now I was like trying to get her to go with dad. Like we're very connected, we're very close. And, I've got my stepson as well, but this is my first, biological child. And so we're like super connected. And I just want to embrace every moment I can with her. So it's a priority for me. Of course it is, right? Like for every parent to be with their child, but it's just one of those things that like kind of redefined my whole approach to my life and my goals and what I want and where I put my priorities. So you've heard of like the glass balls and the rubber balls and which ones break and which ones don't. And so that's where I'm at is she's my glass ball and she's my main squeeze forever and ever. She inspires me. She's at a really solid age now where I feel comfortable like bringing her to gigs as long as my husband's off.
Oh,
So
nice.
different to kind of puzzle piece all that together and coordinate it, but I also know that she's observing and learning from me. And coincidentally, she loves to sing and perform, not on demand, on her own schedule. But if you follow me on social, you know that
Sure.
she has a sweet little voice. She memorizes the lyrics to songs like faster than I ever did. She's incredible. So I want to make sure I put energy into helping her develop whatever it is that she loves to do too. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
34 years old. I can't believe it.
How old do you have to be to join Chico's Rock?
I think it's like 5 or 6. She will absolutely. She will for sure do Chica's Rock. She was
She's
born.
getting there.
Yeah, I took her to go do an interview with them a few months back, and right away she like got the little guitar and she was jamming and cheering and like she was there for the vibes. It's just really cool to see that. No one prepares you for like what being a parent
No.
is and like watching your children just bloom into the magic that they are. It's incredible.
So how does that change like your the way you come in into like writing songs and being inspired? Because I'm assuming even though like you might not be gigging as much, every now you probably get the itch to write something new. So has that helped you like write more personal songs?
Yes, it does, and it should more than it has. And that's actually been like on my heart a lot lately. I'm like, why am I not writing? But I think it goes like really deep into some onion layers there of just, they say you have a kid and you lose your pink, and then it takes a while for your pink to come back. And I feel like 4 years later, like I'm just now getting my pink back. Although I've always been very driven and like wanting to stay busy and multitask, and everybody knows that I'm doing, real estate, working for the law firm, and I got the TV show, and I'm a mom, and I do content creation, and I sing. And so again, glass balls, rubber balls. But I did that's been big on my heart is like I need to sit down, I need to write more. And that's my big goal for 2026. Last year I finally released an original song that I wrote when I was pregnant with Olivia. So if that says anything to how often I'm really taking the time
Yeah.
to but I was really proud of the fact that I put it out there, and then it got some really, really cool, unexpected recognition from like the local singer-songwriters and all that stuff, which was really neat. Before that, I put out the rodeo song, and then before that, I mean, my last album was like in
Yeah.
2017, or my
Yeah.
EP. So it's definitely a priority for me this year is not to stress so much about doing as many live gigs, like I said, quality over quantity on those, but absolutely to write more, to look into myself, into my heart, my feelings. I definitely feel like as I approach the ripe, beautiful age of 40, I feel much more unapologetically myself. I don't feel the need to like please or satisfy people or deliver what they're expecting from me. And so I want to take that new magical power that I have and embrace that and just put out songs that feel good, whether it's personal or made up or whatever, and stop worrying so much about what people think. But this unapologetically song, I wrote it when I was pregnant with her, but my daughter knows it word for word. And just watching her sing it, and she's like into it and doing all this stuff. I'm like, I need to give her more of that because one day I won't be
Yeah.
around. And
Yeah.
that's going to get her through something, like if I die tomorrow, my baby will have my voice. I'm going to cry my voice and my song to carry her through that. So
Yeah.
that's what I really want to focus on this year. And just, continuing to produce and work with my guys and venture out. Like another reason that I don't have so much original music out is because I felt like it was a sin if you didn't write it yourself. And now I
Mm.
realize like any established musician doesn't necessarily write and record all their songs like independently. And I don't know why that held me back for so long.
Even more nowadays. Welcome to the age of AI, right? Where you can just write a line in and tell it what to sound like, and boom.
Okay, so I haven't tried that because again, I'll use AI for, writing up a press
Sure.
release,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. But I'm nervous to dive into that world because is it cheating? Are we cheating if we're using AI?
Uh, it's tough.
Instead?
I had a talk. You know Mason Shirley?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did my song unapologetically
Okay.
and the rodeo song.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. Mason's a big is a he's very adamant about not using AI.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm
He's
losing.
very adamant about like you may use it to like if you maybe like stuck in a rut or you just can't think of a line or something. But as far
Mhm.
as like replacing what the final product is going to be, that's a big no-no on him.
Yeah,
And I agree.
yeah.
I share the same sentiment. But yeah, it's like I think it's a great tool if you were like a single songwriter by yourself. You've always wanted to play in a band, maybe you're too shy to play in a band, or maybe
Mhm.
just have too many ideas and just need to get them out.
Yes.
Because there's some people that they've been hanging on for the same song for 10 years that they've been wanting to get it out and they just never can.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they just haven't found the right band to play with. Maybe he's a rock guy, but he wrote a country song, an R&B song. He just wants to put it out. I think that's okay, but
Yeah,
everything in moderation, as everybody says.
exactly. And like we can't control what people do and
Yeah.
how honest are people really going to be? It's just like using a filter online, right? Like I'm really I put my foot down on like I don't use filters. If I ever do, I'll like put a disclaimer or something because I stand on business. I don't like to filter my life, filter my face or my voice or anything like that. Like even in the studio, I'm like, let's try to keep it raw. Like of course do your magic in the studio, but I want it to
Sure.
sound good naturally. And I think that's why I love live performances because you can't fake that, right? I mean, there's no rule book. We're all trying to learn how to navigate through this AI stuff, but I would say I'm with you. I'm with Mason on that is maybe it's so funny. We were talking about this. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I was like, what if I put some of my ideas like into AI? But I just feel like it's like a gateway. And then you open that up and it's just like, gosh, it's so much easier. Why don't I just go this
You
route?
have to be careful, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it to be so easy. It just becomes like a cop out.
Well, and then you don't feel right taking credit for it, right? Because it's not yours, it's AI's.
And you have
So,
to be careful too. You have to read the fine print of some of these websites, right? Because
mhm,
as soon as you put something on there, some of these websites says the ideas that we spit out and we generate are ours, not yours.
that makes sense. I didn't know that existed, but that absolutely, yes.
See,
Especially all these
yeah.
creative outlets. I mean, what people are doing with photos. And I'm also still on the fence. Like, I use it for business related stuff, documents, like double check my email, make sure it sounds
Sure.
good, that kind of thing. But
It's my grammar.
I'm still weary about inputting personal information. Like a lot of people use it as a therapist, and I don't. The way things are going right now, I just can't say I trust that. And mind you, they're watching anyway, right? Don't start me on that conversation. They're watching anyway, but like how much of your own information you volunteer into something is just still
Yep.
kind of sketch for me.
I mean,
So I,
everything is in the fine print, and they put in the fine print for that reason.
yeah.
If you're not paying attention, they'll own your pictures, they'll own your videos, they'll own your
Yes.
voice, they'll own everything.
And up until recently, I don't know which of those cartoon, make your face a cartoon trends. I was like, I just want to see what it comes up with. Oh, it was the one where it was like, based on everything you know about me, turn me into a character. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
put a lot of my work stuff, so I'd be curious. And it gave me like a 45-year-old bearded man in a radio studio. And I was like, where did it come up with that? But I had never uploaded a photo of myself, so my dumb butt like went ahead and uploaded one. And then it like didn't work or it took too long and I gave up. I was like, this
That's why
is
it entices you. Yeah, it kind of like tricks you, right?
I
Oh,
mean,
this
like,
is not right. So let me put one that actually looks like me and let me see what this looks like.
so
They catch you like that.
that was like the first and last time I think I'll put that or any other personal information. Like I said, I use it to help with drafting and that kind of stuff for work, professional stuff, format, that kind of thing. But you still gotta like, cross your T's and dot your I's because a lot of people just take it, copy, paste it, and it's another form of a filter. It's not you, and people can tell. Your people can tell. And so I'm firm on trying to keep it real during this transition into an AI world and not really knowing like what comes from it for sure. But
So
no disrespect to anybody who has to use it to
sure.
overcome any, writer's block or whatever. I mean, it's another tool. It's a tool.
Speaking of crossing your T's and dotting your I's and make sure things are real. So I guess let me say it this way. So if people want to find out more, there's plenty of story of the time that you went on The Voice, right?
Mhm.
We don't have to talk about this. You've talked about it plenty. When did you like realize you're like, shit, like I'm in the middle of this right now? Like when was that moment when that light bulb went on? Like this
From
is
the
for
voice,
real. Yeah, like this is for real.
I had a lot of those moments while I was there. Leading up to it, I had auditioned for several shows. So I had already auditioned for The Voice once before. And then I had auditioned for America's Got Talent, which
Mm.
we were kind of going back and forth and trying to figure out what approach we were going to take because I went in solo, but they were like, what if we bring you in? Like, do you want to bring your band with you? And so I was kind of like working on that when the second voice opportunity happened. And then I had also tried out for the X Factor. So it was X Factor, Voice, and America's
Oh
Got
wow.
made it up, but not to where you make it on the show. And then none of those came through. And then the following year was when I saw, I was still talking to AGT. I don't remember like the exact timeline, but then that next year, my life was very different, and the voice auditions came around again. And I guess to answer your question, that second time around, I got the call back and all that stuff. The callback was euphoric and like a very, oh my gosh, is this real moment? But probably like landing in Burbank and checking into a
Mm.
hotel by myself. Like I didn't do a lot of solo traveling. I never ventured too far from home except to like, in college to go with my buddies to Austin or San Antonio. Never lived anywhere else. So that was a really big moment for me. And my dream was always like to be a star. And, to me, that was just like the beginning of the rest of my story, God willing. But I was still very much struggling with like imposter syndrome and do I even deserve to be here? And
Mm.
this is just like some freak of nature miracle that I ended up here. It's not going to last. So definitely like struggling with that. But, getting the call back and then checking into the hotel and then making it through that, what was called an executive audition, coming home and then getting called back again and knowing that
Mm.
there was a chance I could really be on the show. And
Wow,
then
so
one,
there's like a really big process behind all of it. So why
but
did you pick zombie?
man, Zombie was really cool too. Okay, so you get a list of about 300. Now it's probably like 3,000 songs. I was on season 6 and they're on season
Yeah.
7 right now. So if that tells
Yeah.
you anything. But at the time, obviously things have copyrights and you have to have, permission to use these.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was a list of like 300 songs that they get. You can audition with whatever you want, but when you go to the TV show blind audition, you got to use songs that are pre-selected. So there was a list of like 300 songs, and I was leaning into like Bruno Mars, Amy Winehouse, like kind of my wheelhouse. But on the survey or the questionnaire, it was like, are there any other songs not on this list that you sing? And Zombie, I had been doing, I mean, forever
Hmm.
already. So I wrote that one, a few others. And that was another, like, every time I tell that story, there's so many, like, what I call winks from God, like a little, like, I'm right here. And so I wrote that in. And when I found out that that was going to be my blind audition song, which means that they went through that whole application, they saw that I wanted to, and they heard me do Bruno Mars already. They heard me do Amy Winehouse, but they're like, Zombie, let's do that. So I guess they went and got the rights to it or realized it was in a catalog that they could use. And so that one got approved, and that was the song that they essentially chose for me.
Nice.
And that was another one of those like, wow, because I had already been doing that one for so long. One of the things I've always struggled with, I don't have like a photographic memory, so memorizing lyrics, it takes me like years to memorize a song. And that one I was like, well, great. Like that's one less thing for me to worry about because I already have that song memorized or close to it. So that was how that one came to fruition. I just thought it was neat that I was able to write it in and that was the song that they chose for me. And it was like I said, that wink of like, this is your song and this is one that you've been doing for a long time. That's how Zombie came.
So like the lines between like music and TV production, like they blur all the time. Like back when you were seeing all the production behind the scenes and all that, did you start to get that little twinkle in your eye about doing TV?
No.
Or did that even like did at any point like you know what? All of this behind the scenes stuff is kind of cool. Like I kind of want to do that too. Never that
It
never came up.
Not really. Like I was still hell bent on my music career. I was at a turning point. I was 27 years old, so already at an age where a lot of people like they're married, they're starting their lives, and I was still fighting and chasing this dream of being a successful musician, which how do you measure success? I was already a successful musician. I still am. But the way I defined it back then was am I relevant and
Sure.
before, I'm on this big stage or whatever. So I was looking for validation from my faith, from God, from the universe. A lot of people don't like to combine those two topics. I think they coexist. I was looking for that validation for myself. I prayed a lot about it and all that stuff. It was neat to see the behind the scenes, but I was so focused on needing an answer from God as to whether or not that's what I should continue doing or not. Like, do I keep singing God or do I just grow up and throw my dreams away and move on? Like, is it time to get a big girl job? Is what was kind of in my head at the time. And then once I made it through, I mean, so many other things happened after that. I don't think TV was ever on my mind until it happened because it went from that. Then I like rode that wave for a while. Of course, it was a big hit in town for quite some time and played lots of gigs. And then it got to a point where I was like, man, I need to like get some insurance. I need to do this. I need to do that. So then I got invited to be on the radio, and that was when I started Rock 92.7 over at Malkin. And then I did that for 4 years, and then I was like, man, like it's time to level up. I don't remember if I had insurance with radio. So that's when I was like, I need, to do this, do that.
Yeah.
And that's another wink from God moment because if you've listened to any podcast, I talk about this on a lot of them, but like Zombie was a part of my roots. And then Zombie was the first song that I did on The Voice. Then I come back from The Voice and the fact that I performed Zombie and of course my relationship with Gino Z95. I mean, he's always been a big supporter, would come to my gigs and stuff, but he reached out to me thinking, hey, you're the rock girl of Corpus. Like, let's bring you onto rock. Makes sense, right? So then as I'm going through that, and of course life things are happening at the same time, family illnesses, and when am I going to find the man of my
Sure.
dreams and all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
other things,
Yeah.
relationships, right? And so then I'll tell the story as quick as I can, but this is my other wing from God is like towards the end of the radio thing when I was starting to look around. I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. I still wasn't necessarily looking for TV. I didn't know what was going to happen. So talked to God about it, prayed about it, whatever. And so then I would always perform at the Share Your Christmas for KIII. So myself and my Uncle Pepe, the famous actor from Scarface and The Jerk, were there. And Joe Gazin came up and was like, "Hey, would y'all be our, what's the word, grand marshals? The grand marshals for the La Posada boat parade. So kind of like guests of honor for the boat parade." And we're like, "Yeah, it sounds super fun. Great. What do we have to do?" "Oh, just be on a boat during the boat parade. We collect all the toys and someone will interview you on the boat and then that's it. Sounds like fun, right? Let's go." So we go. It's freezing cold and I'm there like, we're just gonna have a good time. I'm gonna get on this boat and then there's a party at the end. I'm here for it. So as we're getting on the boat, Joe Gazin comes up and he's like, "Clarissa, I need to ask you a huge favor. The TV personality that was supposed to be on this boat with you to interview you went to the wrong yacht club and we need to take off. Like the show needs to hit the road." And I was just like, "Okay." He's like, "Would you mind doing some call-in? Like you be the anchor." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I got my camera guy, everybody's ready. Would you mind, doing the call-ins?" And I was like, "Huh." I had all of 5 seconds to process that. And I was like, "Well, who better to be by my side than my actor uncle? What better preparation could I have than 4 years in radio where I do 1 minute call-ins for every remote that I do? And I could
You've
be
been on
at
TV before.
yeah, I've done interviews and stuff like that. And then like I could talk to a brick wall. So surely I can do a quick call in, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, y'all are gonna prep me. Like, will I have a thing? Will I be?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we'll take care of you." Cool. So we take off and I went from like party mode to like, "Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. I'm gonna be on the news." So I have my phone and I'm Googling like the history of La Posada Boat Parade and talking to the captain and like trying to gather whatever
So you
information I
just like you just went on work mode like that.
Yes. Yeah. And so I did the call-ins. Well, I didn't have an earpiece or anything. So the camera guy was just like, "Three, two." And I was like, "Thank you, Joe. Clarissa here with La Posada Boat Parade." And I just did my whole thing. And I'm laughing because that was before I ever got Botox. And I have this involuntary movement in my face. It's Archie the eyebrow. I'm overdue for Botox, but this guy has a mind of his own. So if I'm like flowing through something, it's like the
It
rock
goes.
takes
Yeah.
over and it's over here. It's like she's full of it. She's making up stuff. And so when I go back and look at the video, I was like, "Thank you, Joe. Clarissa here." Eyebrow is insane. Funny side story, just, for y'all to know I'm real and weird. And then so we do all those. It felt like it went smooth. It was freezing. It was really, I'm on a high, like all the endorphins are surging through my body. And we finally land at the last spot. I do one last call in. What a great turnout, blah, blah, blah. And we go inside and it's like, woo, like a good time. Joe came, Joe Gazin, the man, right, of Corpus, and was like, "Thank you so much. Like you killed it." And we couldn't be more grateful. And that was it. After that, I had a call from both of the well, I would say all three news stations in town. Several opportunities presented themselves to me, and it was like news, lifestyle. And the lifestyle show didn't exist yet, but the GM, Greg McAllister, over at Chris Six at the time, really sold me on it. He's like, "Do you want to be behind a news desk or do you want to be doing cool stuff and being the rock star that you are and trying new restaurants and going all this?" I was like, "That sounds way more fun than me having to be serious about
Yeah.
anything. I'm just not a serious professional person generally, right?" And that was the direction. I prayed a lot about it. Of course, my parents wanted to see me like as a news anchor, like, I was like, "Me, he thought that would be so cool." And I was like, "I just don't know." And I was thinking about like my future, right? Because at this point, I'm already in the relationship with my now husband. And so my mentality was like, I want to get married. I want to start a family. I want to be a part of my baby's life. And if I do news, it's either like, I don't, the hours are crazy. No
Like yeah,
call.
they're insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in my head, I was like, that's not realistic, like for my future. So I said I was going to tell that story in a nutshell, but what I was trying to get at was the fact that it was just like a domino effect in the entertainment world. And now when I go to my public speaking stuff and I talk to kids, especially singers, I let them know that like I found out that my voice was for more than music. It was for more than singing. And I never considered that God gave me a voice for anything more than to entertain people with my singing voice, not to realize that it was meant to be a motivational speaker, that it was meant to be a mother and an aunt and a wife and all those things, that I was meant to,
Educator as well.
yeah, a TV personality, a motivator, somebody who inspires people with my little speeches and my God talks and the things that I rant about on Instagram stories. But those are the things, like those are the times where I use my voice and I get some really incredible feedback. Like when I'm truly myself and I'm like crying in my stories because postpartum is hard, or, getting emotional
Yeah,
about this, that, or just excited because God blessed me again. People drop in my DMs and are like, man, like I needed to hear that today, or that changed my life, or thank you so much for sharing that. And it's just neat because that's all the validation I need about my voice. I don't need to be selling out concerts across the world.
sure.
And now I look at it and I wouldn't trade a world tour with my name on it. I would never trade that for what I have now, ever.
That's awesome. So t
Yeah.
t talk to me about this new show that you got.
So it's called the Coastal Current, but I think we're going to change it to just the Current, just to differentiate from the other show that I was on, which still
Hmm.
exists. So it's fun. It's neat because we have the creative freedom to highlight. It's so basically it's owned and put on by my law firm that I work for, which is the Hio Law Firm, personal injury attorney, car wreck, trucking accidents, slip and fall, that kind of thing. The reason that I wanted and was excited to work for Mr. Heil, Robert Heil, is because he is genuinely somebody who wants he always reinvest my success in the community. He means it. Everything is from his heart. He's there in person when he can be. When you're presenting, like well, now we are presenting, hey, these people want money for this, that. He's like, is it sports? Is it kids? Is it teachers? Is it veterans? We're in. Like any way that he can help, we always try to help. And I really admire that about him. So his concept for the show was let's start a show where we can help people promote their businesses, help everyone kind of like be in the know about what's going on in town. Let's address the male demographic. Let's include sports and boxing and things that men want to hear about too. And y'all just have fun with it. And so basically, now, I mean, because the show I was on before, it was like a pay for play, right? So you're paying to advertise on the TV show.
Mm,
This one's paid for, like it's his show. And we put the content that we want. So it's really neat because I can reach out to a Lowly's Streetery downtown and be like, hey, I saw that y'all just opened. Do you want some free advertisement? I'll come shoot an interview with you guys and we'll put on TV and then you have it to use for yourself. So for me, that's really exciting. Something I'm really wanting to lean into while I have this platform with you is, yeah, local businesses, local heroes, that kind of stuff. But musicians. So anybody I can't do cover music because of like copyright issues. There are any original artists out there that want to feature their music on our show, as long as it's within some tasteful boundaries, of course, for lifestyle TV, I'd love to feature you guys. It's really simple. I just need like a video of you performing, like a nice quality or even a music video, preferably. And then usually I'm like, hey, send me in like a 1 minute clip of you introducing yourself and who you are and tell me a little bit about the song. It's free exposure. Like,
sure.
it just feels so good because I've always wanted to be like a bigger advocate, more involved in the community. I want to help, I want to do more, I want to volunteer, but like my life has never really allowed too much of that because I've got 45 jobs and a family. So this is neat because it's like it is my job and I still get to, help lift local businesses and small businesses and creatives and all that stuff. So the show itself is super cool. It's a big responsibility. It airs once a week. We're working on getting it on several other stations so we can get even more publicity. But right now, it's a show that I plan that airs twice a month, and then we move on to another show for the other 2 weeks of the month. And it's neat. It's here's what's coming up. Here are some things to do over the next couple weekends. A big fight's coming to town. Here's what the Islanders are doing. Here's this. I always try to put a restaurant because we all love food, so that's always a hook. And then, nonprofit organizations. So it's a really big blessing to have a platform to do that with people.
And this is airing on channel 10.
Yeah, right now it airs. We just nailed down a consistent time on Channel 10. So it'll be on Channel 10 Saturdays at 10 a.m. And then when we can squeeze it in, it's also going to be on Channel 6. And then
Oh, cool.
we're looking to put it on streaming platforms. And I think we're going to have it also on Channel 3.
To ask you about the streaming platform. So that's big. That's huge.
Yeah, we're getting there. To me, all of that, like I would hear people talk about that and it goes so far over my head. I'm like, am I old now? Like, did technology like surpass me and I don't get it? As far as the back end side of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're working on looking into that for, of course, marketing on behalf of the law firm as well. But then, of course, getting the show on as many platforms as possible and making it shareable. But in the meantime, I do try to consistently upload our full episodes and cut segments onto our YouTube channel, which, we're now on like episode 8, which means we've been going on for about 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Yeah. Yeah. It feels like it's been longer, but we're just getting our feet off the ground. And honestly, the support has been great. People are familiar. They're like, you're still doing TV, right? So It's out there. I know a lot of people my age aren't sitting in front of their Channel 10
Right.
TV cable at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday
Yeah.
or
That's why
Netflix.
these sound bites are so important to the demographic of people like in our age group because yeah, that's how we consume.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the
Oh,
younger crowd too.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you can, if somebody wants to bad enough, if they want to, they will, right? We've all
Sure.
heard
Yeah.
on many different, scenarios, but it's true. So it's like, hey, if you're interested in checking it out, you can go there, you can watch it on your cable TV at your mom's house or your grandma's house, or you can watch it on YouTube and go at your own pace and find your favorite segments and share. Like all it you share Saucy Mama's pizza and you're going to bring that woman business and she's a veteran, she's female owned business. Man, like how cool to be able to support somebody just by sharing a link or checking out an interview and trying out their food.
Yeah, it seems like from what we've talked about so far, like everything that you've done kind of like landed you in the spot where you're really comfortable where you are right now, as far as like who you are and what you're doing and what your plans are, what your vision for the future is. Like you just seem like you're really grounded and rooted. That's awesome.
Thank you. I do feel very grounded and rooted. I think my big question is like, what's next? I love where I'm at. I don't have any intention of going anywhere. Very, very blessed with the law firm. I've got like some flexibility where I can still be very present in my daughter's life. I can take her to school. I can pick her up if I want to have another baby. There's room for that. And then the TV show and like I can still gig if I'm doing it. You're right. There's just a lot of really great things that have aligned themselves, and I do feel really great. My anxious mind is like the hamster wheel is going, and it's like, well, what's your next project? What are you going to do? Like, you got to have something going on. You got to have something to talk about. So I have to try to suppress that sometimes and just allow myself to be in the moment because now we're approaching this age. I'm approaching this age where people are starting to go through some like they've been, real things happen all the time every
Sure.
day. I'm very much in my season of like, live each day as if it's your last and treat people accordingly as well and be a good person, which I feel like I've always held myself to that standard, right? But truly just embrace the beauty. So I have a lot of like stop and smell the flowers. I'll go stand outside and just like breathe the air and check out the sunset. My daughter and I jump on our trampoline and we always finish off by like sitting on the trampoline and looking at the clouds and
That's
watching
awesome.
birds and like enjoying the sunsets, and that's where I'm at right now, and it's a really beautiful place to be for
Every
sure.
now and then when we get back from soccer practice, my kids and I would just look at the stars outside, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
it's there's something so simple about it, but it's just so comforting. It really just reminds me of a time where I was a kid because
Hmm.
I used to do that all the time. Now I get to do that with them, so I just like it's just so as simple as it is, really. It's just it's special.
But and we've lost that. Like so much has happened. When we were little, that was a norm because we didn't have many other things to look at besides our TVs inside
And
the
the
house.
world was very different then.
Yeah, like now it's like I catch myself and I'm like on my phone. I went to send an email and now I'm scrolling through reels again. And I'm like, girl, go outside, take a walk, go put your feet in the grass. Like, and it's something we have to be mindful of. So that's another huge thing of mine is like be intentional with my time online and stop doom scrolling with everything going on in the world. Like that is something that I feel it's like under my skin. And but I'm also as an adult like much more mindful and concerned and aware and educated and passionate about the things that are going on. So you'll see me voicing myself more than I ever have in the
Yeah.
past. I know y'all are used to like Switzerland Clarissa, that's very neutral, but at this age, the IDGAF attitude has come very alive, and I just feel like we have to use my voice is to speak out for these children. My voice is to speak out for the suppressed people and those that need a voice, and we need to keep these conversations going so that justice can be served. And I'm keeping that generic, but y'all know where my head's at, right? In every way, shape, and form. And that's a big government thing right now, but it's happening in our neighborhoods. And my daughter is 4 years old.
It
Y'all will
happens
see
when
me
you
in
least
jail.
expect it.
You're gonna see me in jail. Something happened to my baby.
When you
So
least expect it. You never know where it's coming from.
exactly. And so that's where I'm at right now. And that part, it's a little toxic, but I think it's important and it's the reality that we live in right now. So for me, what can I do? I can use my voice. I know that that's a tool that I have. I think I use it tastefully, but I do try to keep topics at the top of people's minds because it's important and we can't just erase these horrible things that are happening. So God willing,
Well said.
we find a way to intervene and like bring some peace and justice to the people that deserve it. But That's where I'm at with that. But honestly, besides that, like darkness, I think everything else is like light and bright and beautiful. One of my cousins, we were out at the ranch for New Year's, and she put it really well. And she was like, my husband and I were just talking about how we're like in this really sweet spot in life. And not everybody can relate to this. Many people have lost their parents or a child or whatever it may be. But in our conversation, we both still have our parents around. They're healthy, they're good. They're not like we're not having to change their diapers or put them anywhere
Sure.
yet. Our kids are healthy. We're in happy marriages. Like there is a pocket in life where all is good, and it's not a huge, you don't know how big that window is. And so when she said that, I like got really emotional. So I was like, God, it's powerful. Like I didn't really think about that. You're in it now, and that doesn't last forever. So for anybody out there watching, even if you are missing, one parent or both, or it's not necessarily about that in particular, it's just the fact that like things are going to change. So appreciate how precious this particular season is because you
Yeah.
never know how long it's going to last.
No, you never know. I think that's a good point for me to say this. I just want to kind of put it out into the world. And yesterday, one of my best friends died.
So sorry to hear
So
that.
it's what you said, like really hits home really hard. You take care of the people that you love, be good to them, and be nice to everybody. It doesn't really cost anything to be nice to people. You never
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen. I knew it was coming, something about his condition, something that I got to prepare myself for a couple of years. But still, when you hear about it, it's just nothing can prepare you. So take care of
Nothing.
each other, take care of people. It doesn't cost anything to be nice.
And
It,
those are the people we love. But think about the strangers, like the jerk that cuts you off in traffic. Like you don't
yeah,
know that they're rushing to the hospital or maybe they're about to have an accident in their pants. Like whatever the scenario is, you just don't know what people are going through. And we have our days, and that makes it, you have that screen over your eyes where you can't think about other people. And I'm so sorry for your loss, but to share that story, like how much that resonates right now today, because that's somebody our age. That's somebody
yeah,
that they
yeah.
have 40 more years
40,
to
yeah,
go.
42 years old. Somebody gone way too soon.
No, yeah. And I look at my daughter's eyes and I think I'll cry mourning myself because I'm like, what if it's tomorrow?
Right.
Like, what are you
Right.
gonna do
Yeah.
without me? What am I like?
Yeah.
Well, I can't go too deep into that because I'll start
Yeah.
crying. But like, life is precious, and as far as we know, we only get the one try. So, I mean, just make the best of it, man. There's so much little stuff that we stress over that's just, and we know scientifically that that stress correlates to disease. It manifests itself in your body. So that's what I try
Stress
to tell.
kills.
Yeah, I try to tell my parents that. I'm like, Dad, like, don't be so hung up on that one thing or that house. He's also in real estate. Like, what happened with that house, Dad? Because that turns into illness. And it's true. But it's mind over matter. You really got to learn to psych yourself out of that kind of stuff. And it's a very like, I do a lot of this. My daughter knows. She knows what my deep breathing means. Very empathetic and in tune with that. But man, I am sorry for your loss. And
Thank you.
it's cheesy, but you got an
No,
angel.
yeah,
You
it is.
know,
Sometimes it can just change facts.
another great thing I heard was something about heaven, and it was that there's no time in heaven. So, as much as we're missing the person that we lost and we have to wait this torturous amount of years to meet with them again, for them, it's a moment. So,
Sure. Yeah.
they're not up there waiting for us. They're existing in eternal bliss. And there is no pain, there is no sorrow, there is no, oh man, I feel bad that I left them behind because they have the peace of knowing that we'll be together again. And for them, it's a blink. For us, it's a lifetime. So I hope that
Beautiful.
that resonates with you a little bit, but that
Well
meant something
said.
for sure.
Well, Clarissa, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. We got it done. We made it happen.
Finally, I'm so sorry I had you chasing me around, but just
No, it's
honestly,
fine.
before this, I almost had to do this with my daughter in my legs because she was just like, "Mommy, I was at work all day and Mommy, I miss you." She's home from school.
Oh,
I just want to be next to you. I was like, "Okay, but you have to be quiet while I talk to him." She's like, "But what if I have to ask you a question?"
she can come on anytime.
She's with dad. She'll take over the whole interview. You'll have to
Yeah,
set up a separate appointment with her.
I feel that. Her and my daughter will probably have their own show
Yeah.
together one day then. She is 7.
7. I love it. Yeah, in 10 years, they're going to be like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
weird how big of a gap it is until they're like 20. And then after that,
Doesn't
like
matter.
twins. Yeah. Now I'm friends with people 10 years older, 10 years younger than me. And I never think about the age gap. Like as long as we're all in the same
Yeah.
maturity spectrum, then we're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
appreciate your time. Great.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right.